is not involved at all today. Well, the number 11 for Armenia, Tigran Bashegyan, responsible for most of the goals in this side. There are only 12 throughout it. He has 8 of them. And Alexander Zinchenko, so inspirational, wasn't he, in both those playoff matches? Back to lead the way, although the armband worn by the veteran Piatov. But given the pieces in place for Armenia, might not have the busiest afternoon ahead of him. So, Ukraine playing in Poland against Armenia. Ukraine have never lost to Armenia in 8 previous meetings. They've never actually lost a competitive match played on Polish soil against anyone. And they're undoubtedly the form side between these two. The defeat in Cardiff, the only one in the last 9 for them. Just a little bit of housekeeping having to be done by the Polish refereeing party. Looks like there is a net loose. Armenia are certainly going to need to turn the form table on its head if they're going to get something here. Their defeat against Scotland, their 5th in their last 7 internationals. That's the assistant, David Golis. He's satisfied. Thumbs up to the main man, Daniel Stefanski. And we should be ready to go. Sunshine over the city of worship, Poland. Armenia in white, Ukraine in blue. And we're away. Ukraine kick off in inverted commas their home campaign here. And Matt, you listen to the noises coming out of the Ukraine camp and you do get the genuine feeling that the optimism that that makeshift side gave them with that win in Dublin. 7 players making their full international debuts in this one. And they have started to move on from the disappointment of Cardiff, and there's a real determination to push on and win this group.
Yeah, there is. I thought they were very impressive in Ireland. It was a slow start to the game from the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because they were getting to know each other. 10 changes from that Wales defeat. But they played really well, deserved to win the game.
Plenty of potency in attack for Ukraine, for Alexander Petrokov's side. They need to be a little bit of patience as well, because as we've seen in both games, this is an Armenian side set up to contain and frustrate.
Oh, this is the pattern. It's set already. Back 5, 4 in midfield, and even the striker dropping into a midfield position as well. Ukraine will have a lot of the ball. Reverted to a back 4 as well. Played a back 3 in Dublin. Zinchenko at left back tonight.
Yaremchuk sliding in, having had an untidy first touch. The challenge certainly followed that pattern.
Saw one. Bashegyan. He's definitely their threat. Gets himself in some great positions.
Have been on the ground as that one against Ireland, and we mentioned that Spetsian, the scorer, is absent today. The 2 previous wins came in World Cup qualification, and Tigran Bashegyan scored in both of those. A penalty against Romania, and he also scored in the win against Ireland. That's well over a year ago now, March 2021. Flick on by Bayraman, but an offside flag to frustrate Armenia, who tend to, either as they did against Ireland, be able to get a narrow win, or they are on the wrong end of some quite serious beatings, as they were most recently back in March in a friendly against Norway. 9-0 they lost that one.
Yeah, their immediate thoughts when they came into the Ireland game was to defend. And after giving up too many chances in the Scotland match, I imagine it'd be something similar today as well.
You hesitate to say that they've been promoted above their status, but they've had a very successful relationship with the Nations League. In its first incarnation in 2018, they were playing in the lowest ranked groups against the likes of Liechtenstein and Gibraltar. Back-to-back promotions means that they are in this second tier, ranked 92nd in the world, Ukraine 27th. So there's a significant chasm between, even though they nominally compete as equals.
Yeah, it was funny actually listening to the manager in his press conference yesterday. He was asked how big the gap is between League C and League B. He said it's not that big, it's very big.
And the fear today will be that the scoreline is very big in Ukraine's favour. Certainly would be far from a surprise. Rashegian's still a little unhappy about that challenge on him by Yaremchuk a few moments ago. He's still remonstrating with the Polish referee. Here's Shaparenko, and here is Yaremchuk.
A little bit of retribution.
Needs to calm down. Very early on to be picking up a yellow card in an approach from Armenia which will necessitate that they make plenty of challenges, you would think. Skadabayev. Matvienko on the occasion of his 50th cap. Kadabayev. Shigankov, who scored the winning goal in Dublin with a free kick that went straight in. Sidorchuk. Stepanenko involved at all today, so Sidorchuk gets another run. Another foul on Tigran Barshegian, this time by Mykola Shaparenko, and a free kick for Armenia.
In good shape about the Armenians. Really close contact with each other, making it very difficult for Ukraine to play through them.
Shaparenko. Run back by Baraman. This is Udo. Thought about shooting. On by Barshegian. And here's the fullback, Jordi Monroy.
Notice how quickly they shut Udo down.
It's not a bad delivery, fizzed across. Dashan was the man to provide, but no one able to get on the end of it.
Yeah, it was good play. Held his run brilliantly, kept himself on side, crossed slightly over hit.
Well, the man who provided that cross, number 20, Antek Dashian, only had a fleeting contribution in the two playoff games. Came on in the 88th minute against Scotland, the 89th against the Republic of Ireland. Mudryk in here, cut back. Yoshenko in the Armenian goal, able to make the save.
I really think that Ukraine can have a lot of joy down this left-hand side. Barshegian, who's playing on the right-hand side, doesn't particularly want to defend. You see him narrowing off, trying to get himself into a slightly defensive position, but he's not going to keep track of Zinchenko. He can really overload down that left-hand side.
Matvienko, Sidorchuk. Zinchenko. Well, given the way that Armenia are set up here, Zinchenko might be able to reprise his Manchester City role coming into the midfield. Here's Sidorchuk. will be deflected behind, almost for a corner. Did well actually, David Yushchenko, to prevent that.
Now this is the big chance though. Mudryk getting himself freed on the left-hand side, and Yaremchuk really should do better. Not too much conviction with his effort. Held his run nicely, but didn't get the connection he would like to have done.
13 international goals he's got to his name, the most recent of which came against Scotland, Yaremchuk. That's more than the entire starting 11 of Armenia on the international stage. Mudryk.
Yeah, he's one that's kept his place from the win in Dublin. Thought he was impressive, actually.
Yeah. Things usually happened when the ball got to the feet of the blonde-haired attacker.
Look at the space that Zinchenko's got. Armenian has to do a better job in getting himself back into shape.
Blonde-haired attacker.
Space that Zinchenko's got. Armenian has to do a better job in getting himself back into shape.
Zinchenko roaming again. Shaparenko. Shigankov. Looking for Yaremchuk. Having dealt with the threat, they've gifted it back to Ukraine, so there'll be another wave here from the men in blue. Shaparenko. Malinovsky. Good one-touch staff sees it end up with Zinchenko.
I know he likes to come central, Zinchenko, but the space is out wide. He keeps his position out on this left-hand side.
Finding pockets of space now, Ukraine, on a regular basis. Can they find a final ball? Monroy there to head away. Malinovsky. Shigankov. Yaremchuk using his strength at the spin on the ball. They'll carry it through to a grateful Yushchenko.
Good spell from Ukraine. Keeping the ball really nicely. Shigankov just drifting into space inside the box.
Shigankov, his teammate at Dynamo Kyiv. And this is the 9th meeting between these two nations. Ukraine have never lost the last time they met, nearly 20 years ago now. Rebrov and Shevchenko were at their peak, leading the line for Ukraine. Shevchenko scored twice in a 4-3 win. Eventful afternoon. Here's Zinchenko for the current crop. Matvienko for Sidorchuk. Look how compact Armenia are. Zinchenko keeping hold of possession. Matvienko spreading it wide right. Kadabayev trying to slide in Shigankov. Malinovsky, Sudoshuk, Shaparenko, Chigankov goes high and wide.
The pattern of their game firmly set now. Ukraine dominating the ball, moving it quickly.
Armenian. Too much to Matvienko. Here comes Alexander Karavayev. Chigankov looking for the return. Yaremchuk. It was Banman who was back. Armenia can come forward. Babayan. Wide.
He's going to have a crucial role today. And the ball goes forward. It has to stick with him to give them a chance of getting up in support. We saw Armenia score from distance against Ireland. Trying their luck again.
Yeah, 7 of this Armenian starting 11 play their club football in Armenia. Babayan, who you saw take the shot on there, is one of the exceptions. He spent last season at Vale in Denmark. He's going to move to Randers next season. Getting his transfer taken care of early this summer. It's his first appearance, incidentally, in the Nations League this edition. Chigankov, a tester.
Dangerous ball. Looking for a runner. Whipped in towards the goalkeeper. It's a difficult one to defend.
Quarter of an hour played. I don't think we've really seen anything so far that we didn't expect. Ukraine carrying most of the possession, certainly carrying most of the threat. The counter-attack looking to be the friend of Armenia. They've been few and far between. Matvienko ensures there's nothing there.
Just in the last couple of minutes, Bayramian has come a little bit more central for Armenia, trying to get on the ball. Without possession, he's just filling in on the left-hand side, but when they get the ball, he's trying to get on it.
Monroy crowded out. Zinchenko. Won by Sudoshuk. Malinovsky takes it out to Chigankov. Yaremchuk, Chigankov. So congested there. No free kick. Ukraine were looking for one, waved away by the Polish referee. It could be an opportunity to break here. Varshekian has it. But a lack of composure in that final third. Very prevalent there for Armenia.
He is the danger, though. One of the reasons why he perhaps doesn't want to do that defensive work is because when the turnover happens, he can just help Babayan at the top end of the pitch.
A set piece will be a good route to goal for Armenia, but not on this occasion. Big experienced centre-half, the 35-year-old Havar Mikoyan, trying to make his presence felt.
Enough pressure, though. Matvienko close to him. I think the pitch is particularly helping Ukraine. Very dry, not moving as quickly as they'd like it to. A little bubbly.
Malinovsky. Goshegian again. Sidorshuk. Shaparenko. Shigankov. Malinovsky. One of those who should be well rested, didn't feature at all in Dublin. Zinchenko was named on the bench, but never looked like he was going to be introduced. Modric made that running behind, was actually well marshalled by Solomon Udo. Be a free kick for Armenia, just as he threatened to pull away there. Artek Dashan, he was clipped down.
Yeah, more good work from Dashan actually. Good position. He's worked hard in the opening 20 minutes of this game.
Sabani, Kanabayev. It's a nice flick by Shigankov. 6-7 players in that back line at times for Armenia means it has to be absolutely perfect from the men in blue to get through.
Yeah, it's really difficult. You see Yaremchuk trying to play that ball in behind. There's no space. They're so deep.
Actually a doubt that this game was going to be able to played here in Wush. It's a busy old weekend and there's been a medical conference all week that's been taking place, and it's a concern that there aren't going to be enough hotel facilities as a result of that, and also a concert tonight. You'd be excited about that. Julio Iglesias, the old Spanish crooner, is playing here this evening.
My grandma's favourite.
Mine too. Kitchen, and a slightly too robust Armenian approach there from the skipper Kamo Hovhannisyan. Will mean a free kick for Ukraine. Zinchenko. Modric. Malinovsky. Oh, he caught that well, Malinovsky. It dipped and swerved, but ended up going over the bar.
For a moment, it looked like Yushchenko had been deceived. He made a big move to his left-hand side, and the movement on the ball just caused him one or two issues. It's a nice hit from Malinovsky.
Yeah, he's noted, isn't he, Ruslan Malinovsky, for his set-piece deliveries, his free kicks and such like. Almost manoeuvred himself into a dead ball situation there. And it was a worthy effort from the Ukrainian number 8. halfway through this first half, and still just the one effort on target from Ukraine, and that was the shot from Roman Yaremchuk that was comfortably fielded by David Yushchenko. Bashegyan will need some help.
He's run out of room. Matvienko again sticking with him. I think Ukraine need to move the ball quicker. They need to switch it. They need to try and create overloads in wide areas. Bashegyan the defensive side of the job. If they can get the ball into wide areas quickly, that's where they could have some joy. At times they're playing a fraction narrow.
And we go back to that point you made a moment ago, Matt, about the pitch. They did water it, but it's a very warm afternoon. It's not zipping around as the Ukrainians would like. Sidoshuk. Shaparenko. Nearly for Malinovsky. Ramyan loses out. Sidorsha. Flick from Malinovsky. Here's Shaparenko. Baramyan. Now there are bodies committed forward to this Armenian attack. One of them was Babayan, but the pass needed to be better than that to play him in.
Well, they're a threat on the counter. Good technical players. Slightly overhits the pass to Babayan. Once again, it's Matvienko that comes across and deals with the situation, reads it well.
There's a reason that Nikola Matvienko has started pretty much every Ukrainian competitive game since the start of 2017, going back just over 5 years. Just a couple of Nations League games in the last one, was given a rest against the Republic of Ireland last time out. He's a very safe pair of hands at the back. Shigankov, Yaremchuk. Sidoshuk. And this is Matvienko. Now Zinchenko. Nice shape to that. The captain Hovhannisyan is there to get it high and not completely away. Babayan will try and help in that respect before Karabayev came back.
Yards him, Babayan.
Down their left with Alexander Zinchenko. Zabani. Malinovsky. Mudryk. Shigankov. Drawing the save from Yushchenko, who can bring it in at the second time of asking.
Well, up to now, it's been shots from distance that have been their likeliest route to goal. Malinovsky's hit one that's tested the goalkeeper, and now Shigankov tries his luck. Again, he just cuts across it, the ball moves in the air.
Another goal he scored in Dublin, the 7th for his country. Wins his 40th cap tonight, Viktor Shigankov. Zabani, making it look easy at the back. Mudryk. First chance we've really seen for him to run, but Armenia aren't going to afford him that luxury. He's strong-armed out of the way. Joaquin Caparros, the coach of Armenia, feels that he's making a meal of it. Let's have a look.
Well, he was caught. And it was a foul, but I'd like to see more of that. Pick the ball up and drive at the back line.
Zinchenko. Mudryk. Maybe he's got a taste for it despite ending up on the deck a moment ago. Here's Monroy. Shegian. Free kick will be given for that challenge by Matvienko.
That's a shame because if he'd been able to stay on his feet, the 2v1 overload on the left-hand side. How much contact was that? It doesn't look a lot. It's like he's bought that one.
As the veteran, hasn't had much to do yet. 37-year-old Andrei Piatov on his 102nd and final cap for Ukraine. Shegian, well, that's ambitious, given how scarce the attacking opportunities have been for Armenia. You could say that's wasteful as well.
The centre-halves who've gone up just looked at him as if to say, I've just run 60, 70 yards to get myself in the box and now I've got to get back again.
If you look at number 15, Havar Makoyan, you won't want to be doing that too many times. At the age of 35 himself on a warm afternoon. Anyways, back in position now. Normal service resumed. Ukraine in possession with Zinchenko. Mudryk losing out to Monroy. Free kick will be given.
Stay high and wide. That's what I'd be saying to him. He's got Zinchenko behind him, who plays for Man City, where the two forward players in the wide areas do touch right on the touchline, just to try and spread that defence. Because at the moment it's easy for them. They're compact, they're tight, there's no real space. Just create those spaces.
We talked about all those debuts that the Ukrainian head coach Alexander Petrakov handed out in Dublin. As far as Mikhailo Mudryk was concerned, he only made his international debut in the playoff against Scotland. It was his first international start. This is all part of his education, you know. Republic of Ireland started really coming at Ukraine, didn't they? So there was lots of space. This is a different sort of a test for him. Here's Sidorchuk, who's been around the block many times. This is cap number 51 for him. And Zinchenko off the chest of Monroy.
Zinchenko disappointed with himself. For once, plenty of space, time on the ball to pick across.
Speaking of competitive debuts, the man with the ball in his hand, Jordi Monroy, makes his here this afternoon. He's actually born in Bogota in Colombia. He's got an Armenian mother. Previous 5 caps before today came in friendlies. His last start actually in that 9-0 against Norway we were talking about earlier.
I think Joaquin Caparros will be relatively happy with what he's seen. The way they've restricted Ukraine to shots from outside the box. Against Scotland, they gave up too many chances.
Zinchenko. Mudryk, back to Zinchenko. Yaremchuk. This is Matvienko. Karavayev. Malinovsky. Look how high the Ukrainian centre-halves are now. This is Zarbanyi. Alongside him is Matvienko in the last third. Trying to put the pressure on, looking for Yaremchuk. Shaparenko was closest to it. This is Zinchenko on the ball. Ukraine corner.
Stop the play because it's a sore on that for Shaparenko. Initially I thought it was a head injury. He attacked it well. You can see the run from deep. He recognises where the space is. Heavy collision. He's okay.
Zinchenko to retake that one. Modric. Everyone back defending here for Armenia. Does the job. It's going to be hard to get it away and for it to stay away. Malinovsky, Matvienko. Karavayev, Shigankov. Shaparenko. Udo. This is it rather, so out of play it goes. Zinchenko. Dorshuk. Malinovsky. Shaparenko. Up towards Yaremchuk. But he had plenty of company up there.
Frustration for Ukraine. They're trying to probe, and there's the collision earlier on with Shaparenko. So they got a little nudge. But it's tough because Armenia got everybody behind the ball, really tight, congested.
Ukraine have had 5 efforts on goal, 2 on target, but I can't think of too many times where Armenia have been out of their comfort zone for any extended period of time. Shaparenko, always a busy presence in midfield. Shigankov, Karavayev, to Viktor Shigankov. Matvienko, Zinchenko, opportunity knocks. That's excellent covering back by Solomon Udo, and it's provided a platform for attack. This is Tigran Bashegyan. He thinks he can run, Matvienko. Well, he's found a gap. Great work this by Bashegyan, doing it all on his own, but Matvienko has the final say. With bodies committed to attack, maybe gaps will appear here for Ukraine. Not with a pass like that to Shigankov.
That's exactly the type of situation that they need to make the most of when Armenia have got bodies forward. Excellent run from Zinchenko, recognising where the space was. It's when they win the ball back and Armenia have attacked, they really have to take care of the ball, do it quickly and play forward quickly.
It's fair to say Jordi Monroy's come off second best in that leap with Zinchenko. Landed awkwardly, slightly winded by the look of things.
Probably could do with the breather. Had a lot of the ball, have they? But
his second full year in charge of the Armenian national side, Joachim Kaparos, who we just saw a glimpse of there, helped guide them to promotion to League B ahead of North Macedonia, which is no mean feat given the form that the North Macedonians have been in recently. He probably came to prominence in his time in Spanish football. His homeland with Seville really laid the foundations for the subsequent success of Sevilla. He was in there just before Juan de Ramos took over and they started really becoming a regular name at Europeans' top table. Responsible for bringing through the likes of Jose Antonio Reyes there, who of course went on to play for Arsenal. Tragically lost his life recently. Sergio Ramos also coming through at Sevilla under his tenure. Monroy's okay and we're underway. Just over 5 minutes till half-time. Mudryk, Shaparenko.
that's probably the clearest sight on goal. Nice layoff from Mudryk into his path, and he's got time to pick his effort, but just tracks his shot wide.
Shirt, Bashagian, soaked in sweat. They had to work hard to get to where they are. And, no one has worked harder, almost on his own in an attacking sense, than Bashagian. He's been the outlet.
Contrast that to the Ukrainian goalkeeper, Andrei Piatov. I bet he hasn't even broken sweat.
So he thinks he's started his retirement already. Sidorchuk, quite take it, Yaremchuk, Malinovsky.
Just sheer weight of numbers. Just no way through. Marshalled. That's about as good as the Bayern could have hoped for as well. Just give them a breather.
A loose clearance by Yushchenko. Oh, so inviting, but no one there to accept the invitation. And Jordi Monroy can clear.
Looking for someone to make that run across the 6-yard box. And Shaparenko's actually made some really good runs from midfield. He was in the box again.
let it run. We've seen a couple of occasions, a little hint of an opening at the back when Zinchenko got in down the left and the cut back, although that Solomon Udo was able to cover. And here, this ball from Viktor Shigankov.
Yeah, he's actually probably looked the most likely to open up that Armenian defence. He's got a trick and a bit of pace to get away from his man. It's a lovely ball, really inviting cross. With Shigankov, you're never quite sure which way he's going to go, because left-footed, he wants to come inside and get his shots away, but he's also got that ability to go on the outside.
And it was well won back initially by Shaparenko. The Armenian hordes are able to crowd out again. There's the offside flag, this time against Edgar Babayan. I think there'd be a fair few Armenian fans who'd have looked initially at this starting lineup and thought, well, this is far from encouraging. But the way that Joaquin Caparros has got them organised, got them playing, well, they're right in this. Shigankov, Yaremchuk. The first touch has to be so precise with that sort of congestion around you.
He has to improve, Yaremchuk. Ball's coming to him and bounced off him too often.
Here's Sidorchuk. Seconds of normal time remaining at the end of this first half. Mudryk threatening to get in behind. They've been very good at getting to the second ball in this first half, Armenia. Dashan, when you consider that he hasn't started an international match since 2014, has looked more than an equal of all those around him in midfield.
This is a ball I'd like to see more of, actually. Just to stretch the Armenian defence deeper. It might just leave a bit of space in front of them. Saw that ball over the top to Zinchenko where they got him.
To make something happen now. Added time at the end of this first half for Ukraine. Malinovsky holding off Udo before his side down. That'll be a yellow card. Will there be time to take the free kick though?
The referee did his best to calm the emotions down. There was a reaction from Ukraine to that challenge.
Wasn't a good one, was it?
No, it was a poor challenge. No need to do it.
But Bayern getting the yellow card for it.
Sabani looks like he's been booked as well for the reaction.
VAR in operation, of course, so if there's a case to answer for anything more sinister than a yellow, then that will be looked at. Confirmation that Sabani has indeed joined Babayan in the book, so yellow card apiece late on here. In the third minute of added time. And that's that. Ukraine playing in Wush and finding stubborn and well-organised opponents in Armenia here. They've made most of the running, they've tried most of the attacking, but everything they've tried has not come off. is stepping over the line there, Babayan, with that challenge late on. And it typifies the resistance of these Armenian players who are determined to recover from defeat last time out and are doing a good job here, holding Ukraine at the break. Half-time, Ukraine 0, Armenia 0.
You must restart faster. Go.
The second half awaits in Wush. How come the two sets of players? Half-time score, Ukraine 0, Armenia 0. Not too many changes by the look of things for Ukraine. There's the possibility that Armenia might just shuffle their pack. There were certainly a few of their number who were going through a slightly more vigorous warm-up than others at half-time. I wonder if we'll see Sargis Adamian, the striker, the number 22, coming on before too long. Either way, you suspect that the Armenian game plan has been stuck to a little more effectively than that of Alexander Petrakov and Ukraine, who is deep in conversation with Vitaly Mykolenko. 5 substitutions available to both nations, remember, in this UEFA Nations League. But as Ukraine prepare to get us off and underway for the second half, it looks like none of those will be made using the half-time window. Daniel Stefanski, the Polish referee. His whistle signals that the second half can get underway. Bienko. For Armenia, in the previous 8 meetings, have never beaten Ukraine. 3 draws and 5 defeats they've suffered at the hands of the Ukrainians. Zinchenko. We know what Armenia and Matt are going to do in the second half. What do Ukraine need to do to be more effective against it?
Well, there was a lacklustre first half. I would say they need to sharpen things up, particularly in the final third. Yaremchuk needs to be better. When the ball goes into him, it needs to stick better to get runners off him. I think they need to keep their width and move the ball faster as well.
The early signs are that they are seeking to do that. Here's Malinovsky. Sidoshuk, Karabayev, just about fairly eased out of the way there. Viktor Shigankov, who, when there was a spark in the first half, was usually the man to provide it.
Yeah, he was. He showed flashes in that first period. Flashes of quality. Chatting there that Alexander Petrakov to Mykolenko, and that just means that Zinchenko can move back into midfield.
Yeah, his creativity in that midfield role in both those playoff games was a real feature, wasn't it? Particularly against Scotland. Here, despite the best efforts of Malinovsky, Sidoshuk and Shaparenko. Side of that, Vitaly Mykolenko's work rate, his workload has been more than most in this international window. The only to start all 3 of their matches thus far. Ukraine coming into this one. Here's Sidoshuk. Malinovsky. Shekian. Full of running early in the second half as he was throughout the first. Piatov called into action for the first time this afternoon, really.
It was a good run, wasn't it, from the skipper? First save Piatov's had to make. Surging run. Did brilliantly to get himself into the box and faced up with the goalkeeper. Couldn't quite get the weight on the effort. So it took his team 60 yards up the pitch. In fact, maybe not even going for goal, maybe trying to find a teammate. I'm having a little look at this as whether there should be a penalty or not. Nothing in that, surely not. Barney chasing back, didn't look like there was too much contact.
At that angle, if that is definitive, would suggest that there'll be no case to answer. Unless the VAR, Piotr Lasic, has a close look at it, but not for too long. The check is complete.
He's on the stretch. There's no contact at all from Zabani.
A bit of a nervous moment because in the fracas at the end of the first half, there were 2 yellow cards shown. And Zabani, the recipient of one of those, so if there had been deemed a foul, there could have been a second yellow, ifs and buts, but it's all irrelevant now as Ukraine make their way forward through Zinchenko again. Now Malinovsky on his wrong right. Still getting a worthy effort in.
He's tried his luck from distance a couple of times now. Good skill to skip away from his man and then just dragged his shot a fraction wide. Good hit, plenty of power. Not the direction.
Approaching 50 caps now, Ruslan Malinovsky. It's number 48 tonight. 6 goals in that time, but not for the best part of 2 years now since he scored a penalty in the last Nations League, actually, home against Germany. They've come together in League B, these two, after Ukraine's relegation. It was slightly unfortunate. They had a bout of COVID, which meant that they had to forfeit a game, which meant that they finished bottom of their group. Armenia here, courtesy of back-to-back promotions. League B, first of all, in the first edition, and then they got out of League C last time. Yaremchuk, Shigankov. This is Shaparenko. Babayan. Well, he's left his man on the deck. Going back to that incident, he got a yellow card at the end of the first half. Baramian is shown a yellow there.
Zabani's a little bit fortunate. Just see it again, but how much contact was that? Nothing deliberate at all. I think he's a little bit lucky. Baramian, the same opinion. Straight away he goes to the referee to protest and picks up a yellow card for his troubles.
Second Armenian yellow card, both the front men in inverted commas, in that they're effectively playing without a striker this afternoon, but Babayan and Armenian both booked. Kadabayev. Trying to pick out his cross, but instead he's just picked out David Yushchenko.
Couple of early crosses into the box. Remchuk's not had too much to attack. Maybe there's a change of plan, get the ball wide and give him something to get on the end of.
His first touch hasn't been great so far this afternoon, so maybe find a way to play to his strengths. I guess that's it. 9 minutes into this second half, we're going to see some changes. Armenia with a double switch. But Damian, who, as we said, was warming up quite vigorously at half-time, is going to come on, and alongside him, Vashan Bishakshaya. He did start up top in the last game against Scotland. Will come on here wearing number 23. Damian making his way off. The yellow cards had to do with those two substitutions, but it'll give them something a little different up front, certainly some freshness.
They've both got through a lot of work.
Shigankov. This is Kadabayev. Sidorchuk. Ukraine seeking to move it quickly on what has been an increasingly slowing playing surface. And the Polish heat.
A lot of sideways and backwards passing. Not too many willing to take on the more difficult pass that just might open up that Armenian defence.
Matvienko. This is Malinovsky. Nazinchenko. Shaparenko. Kadabayev. Not out by Monroy. This is Malinovsky. Really good effort. Remchuk couldn't get on the initial follow-up. Unconventional but effective enough save from Yushchenko to keep Ukraine out. Closest they've come. Down by Malinovsky. Couldn't find Mudryk. Malinovsky might be tempted to have another go. Looking to tee it up for Sidorchuk. Sekian. Wrestle back by Zinchenko. Ukraine can sense something. So can the supporters, 12,000 or so of them inside this stadium in Lutz. Matvienko. Sidorchuk. Malinovsky. Shaparenko. And then Kadabayev. Shigankov goes down. The Ukraine throw in the corner. Their best spell of the game.
Definitely better tempo from Ukraine. Lifted it the last 5 minutes or so. Lifted by that unconventional, unconvincing bit of goalkeeping.
Malinovsky. We'll have another go. More conventional on that occasion.
Not quite the same venom in the effort from Malinovsky this time. A much easier save for Yushchenko. Landed awkwardly in making that save. These two efforts that have tested him though. This is the first one. Long way out. It shouldn't really have troubled him as much as it did. He's on his back foot and then back towards his own goal line. Almost makes a real mess of it. Helped out by his defence. Bounces just in front of him. Makes it more difficult. But he palms it back into such a dangerous area. This more comfortable.
Comfortable save, but an uncomfortable landing, which is why we have a small lull in proceedings. I think he's going to be okay though. With that initial Malinovsky effort, about all that he did do right, Yushchenko, was get his body behind the ball, so even though the action with the hands wasn't, shall we say, from the textbook, at least didn't lead to too much. The fortune came with the fact it didn't fall to the Remchuk or the onrushing men in blue.
Well, he'll say his job is to keep the ball out the net, and he did it.
Past the hour mark we go then. Ukraine 0, Armenia 0. Ukraine still dominating the ball, 74-75% possession they have. For the first time in the match they're using it really effectively. Karabayev with the cutback, Malinovsky with the shot, Ukraine with the goal. They've upped the ante in the last few moments, and Ruslan Malinovsky has raised the roof. Lovely strike. Ukraine 1, Armenia 0.
Well, he gave them a couple of warnings. Two decent efforts from distance caused Yushchenko a problem, particularly his first effort. And this one, he strikes so sweetly into the bottom corner. It's nice football. It's a higher tempo. And he drills that right into the bottom corner. Yushchenko on the dive, can't get anywhere near it. They haven't been particularly creative in the final third. But that was a stunning effort.
1-0 was enough in their opening game in Dublin. Well, they settled for the same here, you suspect not.
They were rewarded for that upturn in tempo. A good spell for them.
When Armenia do concede, they tend to concede plenty. 2 clean sheets in there for internationals coming into this, but Scotland only managed 2. Norway put 9 past them. Germany 6 and 4 in qualification. North Macedonia put 5 past them recently. Looking at the 2 lineups at the start, you thought this has all the hallmarks of what could be a very convincing Ukrainian win. For an hour, that wasn't the case. last half could be punishing for Armenia. Plan A out of the window.
I doubt too much will change though, tactically from them.
And Roy caught in two minds. Remshuk waits in the middle. Convincing header by the skipper Hovhannisyan. Shaparenko. Remshuk.
Must be the temptation to start making more changes. It's a really hectic schedule back end of the season. Ukraine having to fit in those playoff matches as well.
And Ralph reminding you that the majority, probably 2/3 of their squad, Ukrainian based in terms of their club football, including this fellow Mudryk, looking to find gaps where previously there weren't any. So they haven't been playing competitive matches. Most of the squad, they've been training, they've been preparing, which isn't the same. Two massively high-octane and emotional playoff matches. The disappointment of falling short in the second. Very impressive, their performance levels in those two playoff games, considering that. And then after the goal of World Cup qualification went, with a much-changed side in Dublin, against a Republic side who really needed to win that game. And then here today against a stubborn Armenian side, but one who look like they are going to come off second best against Ukraine again. Third Armenian change. We'll see the introduction of Hovhannes Harutyunyan. And off comes Tigran Varshekian.
Tough for Armenia to continue the workload that they've had to put into this game, and very little of the ball and done plenty of chasing.
One more match day in this round of UEFA Nations League matches ahead of the summer break. Varying lengths for all these players to spending whether they're playing their club football or not. But that comes next Tuesday. Ukraine will welcome Republic of Ireland here. Armenia, their return game against Scotland. And you do sense that maybe Joaquin Caparros has one eye on that. Oh, that needed Piatov to recover. He got that all wrong. Ilya Zabani on almost a gift of an equaliser for Armenia.
Alert goalkeeping.
Monroy. By Malinovsky, Sudorchuk. This is one of those counter-attacking situations that's been a rarity for Ukraine, but when they've had it, that's twice in the match really, they've had a situation like that where they've loosened the handbrake a bit, Armenia, and Ukraine haven't made the most of it.
We just had a reminder that this game isn't won yet. Armenia still wanting to play on the counter.
made those changes up top, Yanin Adamian and Bishakshayan. Suddenly Piatov has been called into action on a more regular basis. Here's Monroy. Zinchenko. Udo. Solomon.
had to chase the ball pretty much all afternoon, but they continue to have a go, and they have carried a threat on the counter.
Well, Dashan hasn't let anyone down in the heart of midfield in his first cap for 8 years. First start, I should say, for 8 years. He's replaced by Rudik Nikitschan. Comes on to win his second cap for Armenia. 10 minutes to play. 2 Ukrainian second half goals have put them in sight of their second win in 2 UEFA Nations League games at the start of this section. Scotland and the Republic of Ireland to take on each other later in Dublin. Ukraine will be sitting pretty at the top of this group.
Yeah, the visit of Ireland here on Tuesday.
Zabani.
Again, definitely become more spread.
Days in this group, Matt, but we do suspect it's going to be a straight shootout to avoid relegation between the Republic of Ireland, who just can't buy a win in this competition. Still winless after 12 matches, ahead of game against Scotland later, and against Armenia. Of course, have that win against the Republic of Ireland, and have shown plenty here today to suggest that they will be tough for the Republic of Ireland to break down in Dublin.
Ukraine, I think, strong favourites for promotion. Already beat Scotland, didn't they, in that World Cup playoff?
One more game to play for the summer recess, and then the Nations League resumes in September. The climax, the international calendar tweaked because of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar in November and December. Sigurshuk. Loose touch by Monroy, and that's going to go in. Mikalenko leads the Ukrainian celebrations. And no wonder David Yushchenko and the Armenian defence don't want to look. That was not good from an Armenian point of view, but Ukraine have a third with just over 6 minutes to play.
Yeah, a real mix-up at the back. Mikalenko the beneficiary. Monroy struggling with cramp. Yushchenko hurt. They just check to make sure he is onside. He curves his run. He is. Monroy just was totally unaware of the presence of Mikalenko. Rewarded for his persistence. Bit of fortune. Just bounces off him. Past the despairing goalkeeper. And that puts a bit of gloss on the scoreline.
Well, they've got a special relationship, those two, Mikalenko and the coach Alexander Petrikov. And so it showed there with that celebration, Mikalenko's first international goal for Ukraine. And they're all smiles now, aren't they? Those going off, those coming on. Danilo Ignatenko, who came on in Dublin, coming on here to replace Sidorshuk for the closing 5 minutes or so.
It was hard going for a large chunk of this game. But it's come good towards the end. Started with that Malinovsky effort from distance.
Suddenly, Matt, that gap you talked about between League C and League B of the UEFA Nations League feels a big one for Armenia.
They've given a good account of themselves, but you can see the hurt on the bench.
The best thing you can say about this is, okay, they're 900 kilometers from the Ukrainian border here in Warsaw, Poland, but for these Ukrainian players, and indeed for the supporters as well, it'll feel like home at the moment. And that'll do on an afternoon like this. Bienko slides in, and he'll get a yellow card for his travels.
There's three of the starting back four in the referee's book. He always felt he was second favourite. Not much contact, but enough to make him go to ground.
Malakaya standing over this one. It all comes to that. The intention was to pick out Boscanyan.
Gyartov now thinking clean sheet. Make sure I don't concede. A great way for him to bow out.
Veteran of European Championships in 2012, and of course they hosted with Poland, Ukraine. 2016 as well. He's even a non-playing goalkeeper going as far back as the World Cup in 2006. 19 major honours with Shakhtar Donetsk, coming to the end of a very distinguished career. Plenty of highs. Be a needless yellow card. Savani hacked down.
Damn, beaten easily.
Big. Excellent hold-on play from the big man. He's taken down. There's the referee's arm to show the yellow card to Taron Boscanyan.
Flurry of bookings late on in the game. Nice position for Ukraine to try and get an effort on goal.
Fourth Armenian yellow card is shown to their number 4.
Play from Dovbyk. He's made a difference since he's come on.
Well, Malinovsky, who started it off, with an opportunity to finish it off. lethal strike from here is well within his capabilities. Malinovsky, a low grabber, just about brought in by David Yushchenko to deny Ukraine a fourth.
A bit of a grimace on his face. He knows he didn't catch that as clean as he'd like to have done, but Yushchenko almost made a mess of it again.
Six added minutes. Dobik. Good intent to try and win it back, but just overstepped the line of the law. So Udo can go back to Monroy.
There's been plenty of rotation between these two teams in their games in the Nations League and the World Cup playoff for Ukraine, managing their squads late on in the season.
Venetian. Chance for Kanavayev to clear via Pyatov. Nikolenko. It's often talked about, isn't it, the importance of fullbacks in the modern game. Both fullbacks, even though one didn't start the match, among the three scorers for Ukraine here, both for their first goals for their country, Karavayev and Mikolenko.
Different goals. Karavayev's was a lovely finish, and Mikolenko didn't know a lot about his.
Well, Pyatov, it slipped through his hands for a moment. He'll tell you he always had it under complete control. And the shot from Adayam is a mere irrelevance.
It was well hit, straight at him. Don't panic.
Udo. Still having a go, despite the game long since having gone. Venetian just eased out of the way, that'll be a goal kick.
He's put some work in. Down this left-hand side. Continually trying to push his side forward.
Temo Hovhannisyan, still full of running. Zubkov's shot deflected behind. In the closing seconds, Ukraine will have a corner.
Not happy. Made the ball to Zubkov and then continued his run. Made up good ground. Zubkov didn't see him.
Who made his debut coming off the bench in Dublin.
Run. Made up good ground. Zubkov didn't see him.
Who made his debut coming off the bench in Dublin, will take what will surely be the final piece of action of the game. Looking to pick out Zabanyu, come forward. And that's that, a perfect start to this UEFA Nations League for Ukraine. 2 wins out of 2. For an hour or so it was far from straightforward here, but when they hit the front it never really looked in doubt. Malinovsky with a lovely long-range left-footed drive to give them the lead, and then the fullbacks got in on the act. Karabayev with his first Ukrainian goal, and Mykolenko a hint of fortune as it came back off him, but it ended up in the back of the Armenian net. So a comfortable win for Ukraine, and it's back-to-back defeats for Armenia, following on from theirs in Glasgow last time out. Excellent atmosphere as Ukraine leave the field here in Łódź in Poland. A home game for them, and it has felt like home. And smiles on the face of the 37-year-old Andrei Piatov, who for the 102nd and final time pulls on the shirt for his country and leaves with a clean sheet. All in all, a satisfactory afternoon for Ukraine. They've beaten Armenia by 3-0. Back-to-back defeats for Armenia, following on from theirs in Glasgow last time out. Excellent atmosphere as Ukraine leave the field here in Łódź in Poland. A home game for them, and it has felt like home. And smiles on the face of the 37-year-old Andrei Piatov, who for the 102nd and final time pulls on the